You're tuned in to the Finding Life podcast, GenZ Coaching Corner. Real conversations that change how we think, live, and love. I'm Life, alongside of Coach Jon, and together we explore what really matters. Today's episode, fear ain't the final say. Courage, risk, and identity. We're talking about what it takes to build resilience and how courage and risk shape identity, and why fear doesn't get the last word. Let's get into it. And boom, here we are again with our Finding Life Next Gen Module 4. What are we going to be talking about today, Jon? Talk to me.
Fear ain't the final say. Courage, risk, and identity. This will help our teens recognize the presence of fear without being paralyzed by it, building resilience, emotional risk-taking, and courage to stand in who they are becoming. So for teens, fear is everywhere. Fear of rejection, of failing, of being misunderstood, or not living up to the image. They're often forced to wear confidence as a mask when they're actually full of uncertainty underneath. But courage is a skill, and we want them to know they can build it. Let's ground this with our own experience first. What did fear keep you from doing in high school?
Hey, y'all don't want to talk to me about that. Y'all don't want to talk to me about that. So chat, we got to get the chat. What does fear, so we got two things different. What's reckless and the difference between reckless and brave, and what did fear keep you from doing in high school, right? So let's start off there. I'm going to start off there. High school. Oh, to my high school kids, let me tell you, first of all, I'm not going to say don't be like your unc, but I am going to say your unc didn't value himself as much as he should have, right? Your unc didn't understand that who he was all the way. He didn't have a high level of self-value, so therefore he had a medium level of self-respect and an inflated ego, right? So if we're going to be real, we're going to be real. So what did fear keep me from doing in high school? Not a damn thing, right? I lie. It kept me from smoking weed. Yep. That was the one piece.
Same.
In high school, I was scared to smoke weed, right? I was I'm up until senior year. Freshman, sophomore, junior, when everybody was skipping and everybody was going on lunch and smoking weed, they know. Man, don't ask that dude. He ain't going to do none of that. I was saying, I'm an athlete. I'm this, I'm that. I'm an athlete. So I wasn't going to smoke weed. I was afraid to smoke weed, but that's probably the only thing. Scared to do drugs. That's probably the only thing fear kept me from for a small period of time. Right. What about you?
I concur. I would say the piece in high school, I knew I was different, right? And I knew I was a natural born leader.
Yep.
But, and we talked about this in some of our other conversations, school environments, peer pressure also, how that plays a role in me actually walking into that person who I know to be. So instead of walking into that, instead of being a leader, I say, well, let me follow.
Okay.
Right? And so I would follow try to fit into these spaces.
So fear of not fitting in for you, right? That was the fear? Or fear of being judged, fear of?
Both.
Okay.
I would say both. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like I would have to let me adapt to the environment, or it would be the part of let me become the one who makes everybody laugh in class. Let me kind of, be the clown, knowing that, bro, that's not you all the way. Like you like to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. It's cool. You like to have laughing moments.
Yeah.
But in this space, right, at this time, that's not even who you are for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why you going this way when you know you don't need to be?
Did you ever answer that though?
Nah.
Never?
Well,
maybe later in life?
I'm thinking you're saying in high school.
Yeah, okay.
But nah, not in high school. But later on in life.
So I think to that point, right? To that point, I think a lot of us have these fears. And in chat, let me say, okay, so Aaron says fear kept me small, blend into to not be seen. I think that was me too. I think that's still me too in a way, right? I think a lot of young people who feel a lot, right? Whether you had a lot of, I'm not gonna say trauma, but you got reasons to have to really pay attention. You're hyper aware of other people and things like that, and being seen because you see so many people. You wear that mask, right? That's the reason why a lot of us wear masks, and masks are created. And I talk about it in my book a lot. Is you create this mask and you become a professional mask maker, right? And then you damn near forget what the face is underneath the mask. You've made so many. And so that gets me to asking, fear hides inside of these kids, right? And it creates these different personas, these different personalities in which you're somebody when you walk out of the house, you're somebody else in the house, you're somebody in the first 3 periods of class, you're somebody else on the basketball and football team, you're somebody else on the cheer team, right? And all of these, you got different masks, and all of these masks are rooted ultimately in the fear of something, right? So I ask us, when we talk about these fears, these masks, we bring back that question of courage, when to do it. We're asking them, like, there's some things that you still need to identify you're fearful of and push through. But then there's some things that, like the gray goose. That's what you said it was? The gray goose, right? Jon said that he had fear. He was thinking, I want to try this gray goose, right? The difference between a healthy fear, because a lot of us get that. They're like, man, mom, dad, I want to do this, and we say to them, no, that's a little reckless. It's a little reckless. Talk to me about the difference, Jon, between reckless and courage, right? That's just, what does that look like? And then I'm gonna bring in the not courage, but reckless and brave. I'm gonna bring in the chat because we got a lot of good answers to that in the chat. To you, what's the difference between being reckless and brave?
I mean, when I think reckless, I think of that without. It's almost like how we talk about reaction versus response. It's kind of without thought. It's just kind of going with the flow of it is what it is, or reckless. That's what I'm thinking in my mind.
Okay.
Versus the bravery aspect of it. It's moving forward or doing something with no preconceived thought, right? And so it's almost just kind of like,
you're saying like bravery is doing something with no preconceived thought?
Yeah, and I say that, but it's like, it's almost with no expectations, right? Because then that allows you not to create fears, right? And so it's just, it's almost bravery moving as, not as you're settling, but it's moving in time as almost it is what it is to an extent. You know what I'm saying?
See, I want to let's bring in the chat, because the chat is offering, and this is all we got, wisdom. Wisdom comes in a multitude of counsel. So listen, we're talking to teens. Teens, get outside of teens to get your information. Right? They only going to either tell you something that they saw in scrolling, or they saw it, somebody told them, right? You can do the same thing. Surround yourself with other people. So reckless is not, Savannah says, reckless is not caring what happens. Brave is you are afraid, but you do things with safety in mind, right? Aaron says that being reckless is not looking ahead at the consequences, right? Teresa comes back and says, brave is to do what's right in spite of others' opinions. Reckless is you don't care about the consequences. Nurse Mom says that no expectation or no hesitation, right? And I'm happy that you're listening, because with an 18-year-old, right? No expectation or no hesitation?
Yeah.
So here's why I like this, right? Jon and I, we're at 2 different stages of life, okay? I oftentimes look at recklessness, right? Similar to the chat, right? Is a lack of planning and an abundance of pleasure, right? Recklessness is lacking planning and an abundant, like too much pleasure, overload of pleasure. Brave typically won't bring you much pleasure, right? You know what I'm saying? In the moment, it typically won't bring you much pleasure, but the consequence, right, is delayed gratification, right? That's kind of where I look at. If I am telling a young person to make a brave decision versus a reckless decision, I am likely going to be able to convince them that the reward is later for their bravery. Right? That your reward is going to come later. What I got to help you do right now is to combat you wanting what you want right now. Recklessness says, give you the example. Recklessness says that I'm going from point A to point B at 125 miles an hour. Brave says I'm going from point A because I don't got no lights and I got to hurry up and get there because I'm trying to get there before it get dark outside. Bravery says I know my lights are not on, and I know I still got to go, but I'm going to go a little bit earlier.
Right. So planning.
I'm still going to go, right? I'm not going to go as fast. It's not going to make me feel good to have to sacrifice and leave earlier and go slower. But the ultimate consequence, though, is I need to get there safely. So if it's between me being reckless and saying, oh my God, I got to get there, I ain't got no lights, just let me speed there before it get too dark. And me saying, you know what, I ain't got no lights, but I still need to get there. I'm going to do the brave thing and plan my day, right? And I'm going to do the brave thing and say to such and such, I can't take you, or I won't be able to do this. I'm going to tell my girl, listen, I can't come over there and hang out today, right? That's going to take you scared of what she's going to say. If you got bravery does not look like it's going to offer you something right now. Everything is telling you don't do it. You scared it's going to do this and that and the third, except for the long-term consequence, the long-term gratification is in the absolute best interest of you. Versus right now, I can tell you, if you are pleased right now, that pleasure going to feel real good right now, right? It's going to feel great, but that's it. It's over right there, and the longer term consequences could potentially be way worse for you. I think that's something that we can try to help them say. Aaron says brave equals delayed gratification. Yeah, I love that. I think that's good. You can also, Teresa says, you can also feel immediate reward by priding yourself in strength you had to do what's right. I'm so happy you said that, right? Bravery cultivates confidence. Recklessness cultivates shame.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Because once you do you do something reckless and immediately you have a regret, right? You have a slight embarrassment. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why that comes, right? And so it cultivates shame. It makes you more silent. It isolates you a little bit more. That's why it's so important for you to calm your ass, like slow it down. Bravery, to Teresa's point, bravery, I need to say this for me. That gives us the opportunity to say, damn, I made a good decision. Like, I know, like, that gives you confidence. Confidence to stand on what you believe in, confidence to follow your gut, confidence to follow your conscience, confidence to, like, it cultivates your confidence the more and more you are able to be brave, because the gratification that you get longer term, you still get that. But right now, you know that you can conquer your body, you can conquer your mind, and that becomes the most important thing. So I love that, guys. Thank y'all so much. Teresa says, and confidence is right now. Shame may come delayed also. Absolutely.
That's true.
Right? But you don't get confidence when you're moving reckless. You get fear. It's still shaky. You know, you're like, oh, I hope I don't get caught, or you don't have a sense of confidence when you're moving reckless. So anyway, I think that's really good. Jon, talk to us about what is a tool that we can leave them? You know, we always want to make sure that we leave in our teens with something very tangible to be able to take and move and utilize in their day. So what is the tool for this week that they've been working on?
Our fear rebuttal chart.
What's that?
In this fear rebuttal chart, this is where teens will be able to name specific fears, right? This is where we name and identify them, and then write a truth-based rebuttal for each one. This trains the brain to move from fear-based thinking to self-affirming truth.
Okay. Let's talk through that, right? Let's get to the chat. when we talk about a tool, what is a tool that you all use and give to your kids, your teens, or would give to your teens for them to understand that fear ain't the final say, right? And how to be able to apply courage and to mitigate risk, to analyze risk, and to create a better identity. What is a tool that you're using in telling your high schoolers? Teresa says it's so satisfying when you conquer control of yourself too. Yeah. Savannah says bravery cultivates confidence, which you can always build on. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So this fear rebuttal chart, it goes into the common practice in teens. You all have the resources. So check out your workbook. In your workbook, you'll see the journal prompts, right? Your journaling prompts that we gave you each week is what you're going to need to look at here. We're going to use this rebuttal chart as you know what a rebuttal is. Let me just say that. Whenever you ask your parents for something, they say no, and you get to giving them the reasons why they need to say yes, that's a rebuttal.
Yep.
Right. So what you need to do is when you have these intrusive thoughts, when you have these fear-based thoughts, you need to have rebuttals on standby. Right. We need to practice, because practice makes
Permanent.
Not perfect. Right. So we need to make sure you have that good thought on standby. You have that rebuttal on standby for those things that you know you need to do. Right. You know you need to do, but you may be a little fearful. I know I need to talk to my teacher tomorrow morning. Man, I know I need to go and talk to the guidance counselor. Man, I know I need to have a conversation with my mom or with my dad and talk to him about X, Y, and Z. I know I need to do those things. I need you to go ahead and write that fear down that you have and start rebuttaling it, because you're going to start, like, in your mind, that second mind is going to say, yeah, listen, you can figure it out on yourself. You don't really need, you know, they're going to trip. You know, they're going to say this, you know, they're going to say that. You don't even need to do it. You need to rebuttal that thought. Yeah, but those are my parents. And they always tell me that when I need them to try, give them the chance to be better. So I'm going to try it. You have to rebuttal that thing. Yep. So inside of your journal this week, I need you to begin to rebuttal those thoughts that you have that are rooted in fear and are keeping you from doing things that you know you need to do. For me, it's answering the phone. Why do I need to answer the phone? Because it doesn't always be as bad as you think. I have to have these rebuttal thoughts on standby, guys. So in the chat, Aaron says one of the tools that she gives out, right, is to be able to share that fear is false evidence appearing real. That's something that we see a lot, right? Those acronyms that help you ground yourself. This is not real. This is not real. This is not real. These things have not happened yet. I'm just thinking the conversation hasn't happened yet. It's just happening in my mind, right? It's false evidence appearing real. That's real good, Aaron. Thank you so much. Teresa says, I tell them the best day God made was one day after another. Ooh, you live to fight another battle. I like that. Oh, you ready to insert the praise music right here.
Right.
Oh, inserted right there. Inserted right there. Ow. Anyway, you're absolutely right. So we definitely want to make sure that they understand that. So John, it's important that we not only leave them with that tool. Go ahead.
I think I know where you're going.
Where?
But if they need to have any question, if you have any questions, right, or any thoughts that you can't seem to navigate and really dissect yourself, you can always click that chat box to your right hand corner.
Yeah.
Reach out to any of our coaches to talk with them, right, or schedule or book a one-on-one session to really go into a deep dive to see how to actually use that fear rebuttal chart and apply it to your everyday life.
And I'm going to leave us with this. You might be scared to do that.
And that's the truth.
You might be scared to ask for help. I know I was. I was so afraid to ask for help because I felt like, damn, y'all don't see me needing it. You're going to make me ask for it? And that created this like anger in me, this pride in me that didn't allow me to ask for it. So I suffered. You don't have to suffer.
That's a fact.
You don't have to suffer. So if that's you, if you're afraid to ask for help, I'm not going to make you ask for help. I'm not going to make you ask for help. All I'm going to do is to say to you, put in the chat this week, put in the chat your 0 to 10. I'm checking on anybody under 5. I am personally checking on anybody under 5. 5 and under, I'm checking on you. So I'm not going to make you ask for help, but I am going to make you see yourself and be honest with yourself, because that takes courage. So if you can see yourself, if you can be honest with yourself, and you can let me know in the chat where you are mentally and emotionally. 0, I'm not well at all. 10, I have an abundance of feel good energy. Tell us where you are. We love you, and we will see y'all next week.
For sure.
Chat said they love you too. Thanks for listening to the Finding Life podcast, GenZ Coaching Corner with Life and Coach Jon. Remember, fear might speak, but courage always answers. Keep showing up and keep growing.